Welcome back to another episode of Daruma Dojo Dialogues. Today I have with us Coach Nick Gerard. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Top morning class today, 6:30 Monday, Wednesdays. Ready to go to bed.
That's an early class. I haven't done too much jiu-jitsu at that early morning time. So I hear it's a different crew.
Yeah, it's really interesting. When I started teaching the class, I talked to you about wanting to be able to train in the mornings. And the first week we did, running, push-ups, burpees. I wanted to get a workout, and maybe the third week people started not showing up so much. Like it's 6:30 in the morning. Does it need to be this intense? So the morning class are a bit more casual. We come in. We tend to warm up doing whatever technique we looked at the class before, and then we build on it and end with 3 to 4 5-minute rounds at the end of class.
Yeah. So at first, when you started doing the early morning class, it was more like slightly selfish in the beginning. You're like, I'm gonna get my workout in, and let's all get our workout together. And I think I've noticed that with myself too. Like there is some part of like I love jiu-jitsu, and there's like a selfishness to where I want to roll or I want to show something that I'm working on, but maybe that's not what the class needs at this moment or at this time.
Yeah, that's exactly how it started. I started coaching my daughter's softball and other priorities, and the evenings just started becoming occupied. Mm-hmm. And I'm just not a great softball coach if I'm not training for jiu-jitsu or something else.
Yeah.
So finding that time in the mornings was really the intention. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't still a little selfish and teach the techniques that I find to be most interesting and want to learn. And sometimes we're going over stuff that I've never tried before, and we're figuring out together as a group.
Yeah.
But we've got a solid group of regular folks, 6 to 8 people, and it's become a really awesome community in the mornings.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see the class grow and the community build, and there's some students that at our dojo that I feel like they're your students because they come and train with you on the regular. We rarely see them in the evening classes, so I think that's really cool that you have your own little crew of students. I'm gonna give a shout out to Cole. Cole is like a little mini you, in my opinion. He's one of your regulars that's been there since you first started in the early morning classes.
Yeah, I think Cole. I think Harsh is picking up a little bit more of my style than what you typically see as well. John, Kamiko, it's an awesome group. It's funny because we've been joking around how this time of year, December, January, it gets so cold.
Yeah.
It starts to become really small groups.
Right.
And then in March, when it's warm again, everyone comes back. But we're still getting good attendance, and we had some great rounds this morning.
That's cool. Yeah, in the summertime, it's when you get here, it's already sunny. Sun's already out. And so I bet at that point, I think everyone naturally kind of wakes up easier in the summertime when the sun's out, but now you get here, it's still dark, it's cold, the heater is just kicking in,
I don't think I took off my hoodie until 15 minutes in the class today. I left it on, put my gi over.
Yeah.
But once you get moving, you forget all about it.
Mm-hmm. The mats are pretty cold on your feet.
Yeah, but the heater is pretty awesome. There's been one day where someone turned it off. And that was kind of brutal. But usually it's really good for us.
Yeah, we have a timer on, so I think I have it turn on 30 minutes before or something, trying to get some heat in here. So before you were coaching in the morning classes, were you a jiu-jitsu coach before that at all?
Not really. Where I trained last. There were times where the instructor wouldn't make it, mm-hmm. and there was a lockbox, and I'd open up the gym and I'd run class, mm-hmm. But never anything as formal. I've coached climbing for years, and I think for me a lot of it seems to be very similar because has so much to do with center of gravity and balance and weight distribution. Mm-hmm. That seeing, watching someone move on a wall and finding the balance so that they can take as much weight off their hands as possible, or lean into the sweet spot of holds. it's not much different than evaluating where balance and center of gravity is, sweeps and open guards and all that other stuff. So it's something that I really enjoy, and like if there was ever a dream job, like some sort of like sports physics, I think would be like the coolest thing. Like maybe it's super nerdy, but just kind of studying how,
like biomechanics,
all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
When I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I was early in college, my first semester of college, where I really got into jiu-jitsu a lot. And I was taking physics, and I saw the correlation, and that really got me excited, like to see, like the leverage principles and everything like that.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy physics, but applying it to sports
makes sense.
Yeah. It makes it a lot more bearable.
And that's really cool. So when you watch someone climb, or you watch someone see jiu-jitsu and the way they move their bodies, you can see the similarities, because you talk about things like weight distribution. That's pretty cool. Like I don't know, like that's kind of a pretty cool concept to think about, and it makes sense. For me, I guess it makes sense in climbing or jiu-jitsu, like the weight distribution, right? Or center of gravity. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean today, for example, we were doing just like kipping mount escapes, right? Yeah. And watching some of the students, as they locked out their elbows, they were pushing away from their bodies, but then they weren't able to hold the person because their arms weren't framed underneath, right? So you got to kind of almost lift them upwards, so that your arms are more in a perpendicular path to the ground that you're framed on. And it just makes it a lot easier, better frames. So just like just little things like that.
Yeah.
The micro adjustments that really make or break a technique. I think finding those is really cool. Sometimes you can't see them. Sometimes you just got to feel them.
Yeah.
So putting those together and working through it with the students is super fun.
That's cool. It seems like you guys have time to like really deep dive and kind of like see how this position feels or how does that feel, and then kind of like troubleshoot on the spot.
Yeah, and the way I've been teaching the classes is we tend to do like one position or system or however you want to call it for like 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll kind of introduce a position, like look at some entries, and we'll look at sweeps and submissions, then counters, and then like reactions off of the counters. And so usually it gets to a point where someone's like, hey, can we try something new? I'm like, all right, well, we'll move on, because a lot of these positions you could work on them forever, right? Yeah. But it's also really cool because like the first week I'm like, oh man, I don't know if this is the right stuff. Like I don't know if this is going to fit into anyone's game, and maybe this is just for me. And then by weeks 2 or 3, I start to see people doing it in rounds, and then week 4, people are like, oh, check out this, like look at this option. And and that's the coolest part, is like understanding the position, and then as a morning class, being able to build and what if someone does this? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's give some resistance. And those are, I think, probably my favorite moments in the mornings.
It's nice to see like them take what you're working and make it part of their game, and to see them build upon it and take it areas where like you didn't think it would go.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's like I don't know everything, and so sometimes we'll work on something, and they'll go and they'll come back and be like, I was working on it last night at night class, and like check this out, or like I was asking, like we were trying to workshop this with other people, and so I learned a ton too. It's really awesome.
That's cool. This week you're working on, you said kipping mount escapes. Are you working on escapes, or are you working on some sort of principle, like framing principle, or?
I wish I could speak to it more, but Cole sent me this guard that he's like, check out this guard. It's kind of like a collar sleeve, but you invert, that he found on YouTube. And I was like, I wanted to kind of review that today because I'd never seen it before. Cole was excited. And then he didn't make it.
Oh, shit.
So I abandoned plans.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what do you want to work on? I was like, let's work on just basic escape. So today was just kind of like an off day.
Yeah.
But I'd say the last 3 weeks we've been working on like De La X, which is a position that I really enjoy. Like any type of X guards or really like entangling my opponent so that they really just have no options and I can kind of take my time. Slowing down the rounds is something that I find myself enjoying more and more as I get older. and so we started by how to enter De La X from De La Hiva. We looked at sweeps, we looked at some submissions, common reactions for how people are going to try to get out of the position.
Anticipate.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've looked at like headquarters passing for a few weeks. I think Cole actually talked to you about, he was struggling with headquarters passing and brought some new ideas from the evening class. We've done leg drags is one of my kind of go-to passing. And then from there, wedges and barambolos, and Harsh has become like he's always throwing down the wedge. It's like so awesome.
That's cool.
And then I just like things that are like more unique and when I'm in an actual round, I can explore. Maybe I have a game plan if there's something I want to work on, but a lot of times I'm going to get into a position and play with it. So like lapel guards and anything where I can slow it down and just really process the reactions I'm getting and kind of what options I have from those.
That's really cool. Do you think you were gravitating towards some of these open guards because of your gripping patterns from climbing? I can do a collar sleeve because I feel like I'm hanging on the partner.
Yeah, I think yes. Yeah. I do love I love training in the gi.
Yeah,
I do think it's more complex, and I also can recognize that I've become reliant on my grips. Like if my hands aren't making a connection, then I'm usually
not in a good spot.
And sometimes I can overcommit to my grips. I think everyone knows what that's like.
Yeah, you gotta know when to let go.
But like, we'll be doing like spider guard or lapel stuff, and people are like, my fingers are tired, and I'm like,
I'm just getting warmed up.
I still feel pretty fresh. So I think climbing has definitely helped.
Yeah.
And actually, something that I don't think I've shared with you at all is recently I've gotten really into the idea of like grip sport, which is like kind of a subdivision of like arm wrestling training. Okay. And so I have like just different grips, I guess, that I'll use with either like a barbell or like a loading pin.
Gotcha.
Just to train my grips.
What's a loading pin?
A loading pin is like it's like the end of a barbell with a flat plate on the bottom, so you can slide plates on it.
Gotcha.
And then it has like an eyelet, so you can clip a carabiner and then clip things to lift it off the ground.
Gotcha.
So I have like a 20 millimeter edge that I'll clip and lift weights from like a one-handed deadlift style position. I have a hub grip, which is like a 2.5 inch like pipe that's like an inch tall, and you just squeeze this pipe and lift. I have like a fat grip so that I put on a barbell, so I'll do deadlift with like a 2-inch diameter bar instead of a standard bar.
Oh wow.
I have these like Saxon grip, which are like 3-inch pinches that I'll put on the barbell, and then like a couple other grips, and I'll just like play with them for like 45 minutes twice a week.
Oh wow.
And then do like wrist exercises, but just trying to get my grip stronger for jiu-jitsu and climbing, and just I work in the climbing industry, and so being able to just like lift heavy stuff with bad grips is just always a fun party trick.
When you're climbing, like you don't always get the best grip. Like sometimes you gotta work with what you got.
Yeah. Exactly.
I imagine. I'm not a climber, but I imagine there's times where this is what I'm working with, and it's not standard, like the gi is the same.
Yeah, but even the gi, like you think about like a cat's paw grip or like a lapel grip, they're going to work different hand muscles.
Right.
And so like all these grips, I think, simulate those. I have...
but the variations on a rock wall is way larger than a variation on a gi.
Yeah.
I would assume. Like you got a sleeve, you got a collar, you got a pants. I can make a grip on your back of your gi or your tricep or anywhere on the gi, right? But I just imagine that the rock wall is going to have, and then all of a sudden you're climbing and you hit a grip that's like, I've never seen this before. But the more variation that you train, maybe with those different types of grip sports that you're doing, can translate.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it translates. Like there's different hold cut types in climbing. Like a crimp or an edge is something that's flat. You hang on with your fingertips. To me, that's kind of synonymous with like a cat's paw grip. If you don't have like a really deep grip, there's slopers, which are like round holds that aren't in cut at all. To me, that reminds me of like closed guard fighting for head control, right? Trying to like do like a snap down or grab someone from behind the head. Pinches are common in climbing, holds where you have to use your thumb and a squeeze to create friction. And to me, that's like a wrist control or like a 2-on-1, right?
Gotcha.
That pinch grip.
Yeah.
So definitely not the same. There's definitely not as much variability.
But the configuration with your hands are similar.
Yeah.
Although like nobody's wrists are this big, but maybe their triceps are.
I don't know. There's some big boys here.
Yeah, there's in the evening class. Those are evening class not that long ago, competition training, and there was like 10 of us, and I was the smallest guy. Yeah. And I'm like, when did I become the lightweight?
That's how I felt. I mean, it's been a while since I made it to competition class, but that's what I remember.
Yeah, I was like, my goodness.
So,
that's cool, man. Like, but one thing that I've noticed recently with grips, and I think I thought about it more when a student was asking a question. Like when you grab a grip, it's never linear. You always add a little rotation to it. Like if you're playing collar sleeve, one of the students said like, oh, when I grab a collar, it slips out. I was like, let me see how you grab it, right? Because they're just grabbing. But if you grab the collar and you turn it just a little bit, it adds that tightens it. Same thing when you grab a cat's paw. Like when I grab a cat's paw, I don't grab. I just like let my head it dangles. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So I feel like, and it would be easy for them to slip it out if I just held it straight. But when you grab it, you kind of, and that little. Is that a thing in rock climbing? When you make a grip, is there a little rotational element to it as well, or is it just? I mean, it depends.
Usually, it's more shifting your body, right? And I actually think the principle is almost the same, because your grip is going to be the strongest when it's perpendicular to the surface that you're gripping, right? And so that's like, in climbing, if I hit a hold here, it's going to be bad. But if I'm able to shift my weight and I can lean into it, now it's going to become more positive. And so I think that's probably like a very similar, or if I hit something here, once I move my body and I can lean, directly 90 degrees into that sweet spot, I'm going to be in a much better position. And so I imagine the same thing is true with the grips. If you don't have the right angle, your hand's going to slide down as opposed to pull into the deepest part of the grip. Like you fold a lapel, but if you're not controlling the posture and they're standing, that hand is going to slide down, right? Yeah. So then you want to rotate so that you can have more of a perpendicular attack angle.
It's all about the angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physics.
Everything is physics, I guess.
Yeah.
Physics. Everything is physics. Jiu Jitsu is physics. I think physics is such a broad topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you got astrophysics or thermodynamics or I don't know.
I keep it simple.
Yeah, I think when I think about Jiu Jitsu, it's like kinetics, like movements and angles and
forces and angles. Yeah.
I wrote a paper on the physics of Jiu Jitsu. It was like my paper for my the final paper in my physics class. It was kind of cool. I took like 3 techniques, like arm bar. I think like it was a takedown, like Taiotoshi or something like that, and just kind of like through the angles and the lever arms, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really got me seeing the similarities. So you're already talking about like rock climbing and kind of the similarities in how they intertwine. I feel like a lot of people who like rock climbing also like jiu-jitsu. I think there's a lot of crossover, kind of like I don't know, other sports that kind of cross over, like the surfing and jiu-jitsu. Is it like a culture thing, you think?
You know what, I think it's part culture, and I've actually been trying to figure this out myself. Like what is my own personal, affinity for these types of things, and like jiu-jitsu and climbing are my main sports. I grew up climbing, and then jiu-jitsu is become more accessible with my adult responsibilities, and but I also really like just getting outside to the mountains, right? I'm trying to learn to surf. It's not going super well, largely because I lack a little humility and think I'm overconfident, and I just get beat down every time I go.
Surfing's hard.
But like this last summer, Cole and I actually got into whitewater kayaking.
Oh wow!
And the first day I was like, oh, okay, I wanted to try this. I'm glad we tried it. And it was a 4-day course that we did.
Oh wow! And
I was like, it's kind of slow. It's like not super physical. And by the end of it, I was hooked.
Really?
And I've been back a couple times, and I'm ready for the rainy season to end, and the water's a little bit more predictable. Mm-hmm. But I love snowboarding. Like I've taken the avalanche course, done like backcountry snowboarding, and I realized that like all of these things put me in a maybe like a flow state is a term that I've heard, where it's like I'm fully focused physically and mentally on what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I think jiu-jitsu might be like a little bit different than all of those, because typically when I'm pushing myself at a limit that I have to be fully focused, I'm usually really scared.
Yeah.
Like I'm going super fast on my bike, or there's a big wave behind me, or I'm on my snowboard in the trees, or I'm climbing higher than I should be without a rope or something. But jiu-jitsu, I do feel like, for the most part, kind of in control or safe the whole time, right?
You can always tap.
Yeah, and it's largely because the community is so great.
Yeah. There's always like there's in any sport, there's things that can happen, but
yeah, but while I don't feel like maybe it's as much risk, it's very much like climbing or surfing or mountain biking or kayaking, but the rock is moving, right? It's like the what's the word I'm looking for?
More dynamic, or there's another human being going against you instead of like nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Like that mountain bike path is going to be that mountain bike path.
Right.
And like the waves are pretty muddier, consistent.
Yeah.
Right. But like I see it coming. I know what's going to happen. With jiu-jitsu, it's like it's very reactive. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of fills the void of the fear.
So another kind of sport that helps you get into that flow state, because you're extremely, people talk about it all the time, like jiu-jitsu, like there's somebody trying to choke you or trying to break your limbs, in a simulated murder type way.
Yeah.
And if you're not focused, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
And so like they always have those memes where like, oh, come into jiu-jitsu, you have all these thoughts in your mind, but then when you're on the mat, most of the time those thoughts leave, and then when you leave, you feel a little better, and then those thoughts come back. But at least when you're on the mat rolling, you're pretty focused in the moment.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that in these outdoor sports, because you're immersing yourself in nature and in these tasks, that you get into like a real, like almost like a meditative state.
I would say so. Like nothing else. My brain feels like it's just always moving. Like I'm super busy in life. I'm like always thinking, and it's like it just shuts off, right? Like I'm focused on one thing, and I think I really enjoy that.
That's nice.
And then with jiu-jitsu, on my bike, I never want to fall. But with jiu-jitsu, like I'll take a risk and get tapped, right?
Yeah.
As much as I love these things, I am pretty risk adverse because they scare me tremendously, which I think is part of the appeal. But it's really just being completely zoned in and focused. I think you know about this about me, but like I talk when I roll. I'm like, I'm like making jokes. I'm laughing. I do the same thing on my bike when I'm climbing, you know, and it's a way for me to, I think to kind of push through, like when my brain starts thinking too much. When I start to talk, it's kind of like I go back into that autopilot mode, and I just get to, you know, my body takes over. So
that makes sense. Yeah, sometimes there's kind of like a people that like to talk when they roll. Like I have one of the students, like he comes to my 11 a.m. class, and like he's rolling like, "Hey, professor, like how was your weekend?" And then like, I'm like, "Stop it!" Like I'm trying to, you know, for me to get into my flow state or to like really focus, like I'd rather have no conversation.
Yeah.
But you know, we're friends, we're having a good time, and sometimes there's like little conversations or like, oh, like that was a cool sweep, or he almost got me, or like, oh, you know, like I don't like that grip, or you kind of joke around. But I think it's playful. That's what's really cool about it. And maybe all the other sports that you're doing is very playful, like
and I would say that's more my commentary. It's usually like a little bit of an instigator, like, oh, it's not gonna work today. Oh, watch out!
Yeah, talking some smack. Yeah.
And then when I get caught, I always laugh. Curtis used to always laugh, because Curtis would be like, "I've never seen anyone smile when they roll." And he's like, "You're just like laughing, like the whole round, like in a bow and arrow choke, and I'm just like laughing."
Yeah.
You know, it's just I love it. It's so fun.
You said you grew up climbing.
I grew up climbing. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Is that your parents were into climbing? Or?
No, my parents were into cars, dirt bike. My dad was like, he raced go-karts, he built them, raced dirt bikes, pit crewed for, you know, sprint cars, did all that kind of stuff. Okay. He's a mechanic, so it's just like engines. I was in the Boy Scouts, went on my first summer camp, did like a rock climbing thing. Didn't really enjoy the rest of the scouting stuff, but I came back from that camp, and someone who was in the Boy Scouts with me was on the climbing team. Oh wow! And I think the first climbing gym here in the Bay Area opened in 1994, and it was a Planet Granite in Santa Clara. It's closed now. You know, now the gyms are all called Movement. But I want to say I was on the climbing team by 1998. And I climbed all through, you know, whatever. That was probably like 5th grade I started, through middle school, high school, competed a ton, and kind of burnt out at the end of high school. Sure. I was teaching a climbing class to this professional Muay Thai fighter, and Fairtex had just opened a gym in Mountain View. And he came in, I taught him a climbing class, and he's like, "This was awesome, I'd love to teach you what I do. Like, come in, take a Muay Thai class."
Who was the teacher?
I don't remember his name. Okay. But he was like one of the professional like Fairtex fighters. He trained in San Francisco, but would come down here.
Wasn't Chris, was it?
No.
Okay.
But
all right.
I mean, I think there were 2 Chris's there, so I'm not sure which one you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah, there was, I think it was Chris Carrasco, when I was going to Fairtex, but he was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like your size.
Christian?
I don't know.
Carrasco?
Maybe.
So it's actually funny you say this, because I like quit climbing and I just did Muay Thai for like 2 straight years.
Oh, really? So you were burnt out of climbing because you did it forever. You got real serious, and then as I think as people get serious in a sport at a young age, when there becomes a point where they get burnt out, and it just so happened to be in that time, somebody came in that you taught that was doing Muay Thai, and you're like, okay, this is cool, let's try this out, and then you tried it and you liked it. Yeah,
you know, it just happened to be. I aged out of the youth competition scene.
Right.
I started partying a lot more, and just kind of, climbing was everything. I trained, I lived at the gym, and I kind of started to just do other things. And then Muay Thai kind of fell into that.
You were like in your early 20s at the time?
Oh, no, I was probably like...
or late?
Probably like 17, 18.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I trained at Fairtex Muay Thai 2 years. And there was this guy from San Francisco who came down, and this guy, Christian, and he kind of took me under his wing, and we would like spar, and I really enjoyed it. But after a while, it just was so repetitive. And one of the guys that I met there was a wrestler, and he knew some of my friends in high school who wrestled, and he's like, you got to come take a jiu-jitsu class. Just take one class.
At Fairtex.
At Fairtex. And so I took a class there with this guy, Jimmy.
Okay.
I can't remember his last name.
Okay. What year was this?
This was probably like 2005, 2006. Jimmy Mighty Mouse.
Okay. It doesn't ring a bell for me, but...
Super strong guy.
Okay.
I'll never forget that first round. He wrist locked me, ankle locked me. Like, I must have tapped like 20 times if I missed. I will never forget it. And
first lesson, this is how you tap. All right, you ready? Go.
And I was kind of upset.
That's a humbling experience.
And I was like, dude, like, he was super strong.
Yeah. Still.
But I went back, and I just like didn't want to lose that bad. So I kind of just stopped Muay Thai and started Jiu Jitsu. I did that for a couple months, and then AK Sunnyvale opened up, and at the time I was living maybe a half a mile away. And so I signed up there, and that was kind of the beginning of, they gave me my first gi, because everything was no gi at Fairtex.
Yeah, they did no gi mostly.
And that was kind of it. I put on my gloves every now and then training there, but...
at AK?
Yeah, but it's pretty much jiu-jitsu from there on out.
Who was the instructor at that time?
The instructor was Bobby Southworth.
Okay.
It was like a bunch of my friends from high school. We all were training, and
it was primarily gi jiu-jitsu, or they did both?
It was almost all gi.
Yeah.
I think there was hardly any no gi.
I think back then, because I started jiu-jitsu in 2003. Actually, when I started, it was first like no gi, but mostly people just did gi. They didn't do a lot of no gi back then, unless you're doing MMA.
Yeah. I think it was almost all gi, and every now and then we'd go to like Hillsdale. The Hillsdale AKA, and then at some point they opened the one on Bernal, but there weren't a lot of places.
So they had one in the Peninsula in Hillsdale?
The Hillsdale, like in San Jose.
Oh, okay,
it was like the headquarters, and I think it's gone now.
I gotcha.
And it was...
I'm thinking of Hillsborough. Is that a city?
Oh yeah, that's like mid-peninsula. Okay. Yeah. And I think Bobby's style was like a lot of smash passing, heavy pressure, and just like fundamental jiu-jitsu, right? And I think it really helped me build like a really great base, and like close guard was kind of the thing that I enjoyed the most. Close guard and pressure passing.
Yeah, close guards are just hanging on someone, I think that's a great way. Like if you're a white belt, just to have solid fundamentals is great, because then everything builds upon that, And if you come in and it makes you think like, okay, if you came in and you have an instructor who's teaching so many, you come in, you're learning a lot of advanced things from the very beginning. It's probably different.
Yeah. And I still think close guard is probably one of the like most dominant guards. Like,
it is.
It's just,
I agree. If you have you see Mika Galvão using it at the highest level. He's one of the best right now using it, and in competition especially because it is so safe and so strong. Yeah. People pull close guard all the time.
Or what year was that? Xander Ribeiro, he in the ADCC, he was like jumping guard. I don't know if you remember that. That was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, early 2020. I remember he was just pulling close guard and sweeping or subbing people with guillotines from close guard.
Yeah, I mean, Kron Gracie was jumping close guards in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know if it's that strong, but maybe for some people.
some people it is, but not for most. No, but he was doing that. You know, I think it was a couple matches where people don't want to do jiu-jitsu with him, right? So they're not going to do takedowns.
Yeah.
And they're going to avoid the takedown. Right, so I think that was a strategy of his. Like, okay, like I'm gonna take you to the ground one way or another.
Yeah.
If it has to be a closed guard jump, I will, because now we're gonna go into my world. Like, and of course you're on top, you can start punching, but I can sweep, I can submit you from the bottom too. So
yeah.
But yeah, he was one of the very rare people that I saw doing that in MMA.
Yeah.
So your first instructor from AKA Bobby, he was strong fundamentals, close guard, pressure passing, and then you were with him until blue belt?
No, and that was a tough gym. Like that was a bunch of scrappy. Like I've always been kind of on the smaller side.
Yeah.
And that gym was some hard rounds
because
all the time.
They were focused on MMA. You think?
I think it was just
the culture at the time.
The culture at the time, but also at the time I really enjoyed it. Now I think I might pass on a couple classes. Like, I'm not feeling it today. But
back then you were 18.
Yeah,
I mean, like when I started jiu-jitsu, I was 17, and that's what I loved about it was the physicality. Like let's get physical and it's nice to get out that testosterone and to fight.
Yeah. And I had 6 of my friends that were in there training, right? So it's like it was always a good time to go hard with those guys. It was bragging rights for whatever we did after.
100%.
But I left. I ended up transferring to Santa Cruz for school, so I moved to Santa Cruz, and then shortly after, everyone that I trained with got promoted to blue belt, and so I had the luxury of staying at white belt maybe a little too long.
Yeah, it's always tough when you go from one gym to another because oftentimes it's like you gotta kind of prove yourself all over again.
Exactly. And I started competing a lot when I was there. I was training at Kaijin with Garth Taylor and Paul Schreiner.
Oh, cool.
And
Legends. Legends, both in their own right.
Yeah. And I mean, I took mostly classes with Garth, and then Clement Shields, Jake Shields' brother, taught there as well. Mm-hmm. And Garth and Bobby, I think, trained together.
Was this in
at a house Gracie's?
Scotts Valley or?
This was this was West Side Santa Cruz, like right by Natural Bridges.
Gotcha.
And it's actually still
Garth Taylor is there now, right?
Yeah, it's still almost there. It's like it's on I think Industrial in Delaware.
Gotcha.
But it's on the other side of the building that it used to be on.
Same area.
Yeah, because I went and I was like, oh, it's gone. And I drove around the building. I was like, oh, it's still here. Mm-hmm. And that was really cool. I started competing in a lot of like the
Rumble in the Redwoods.
More the like the
IBGF.
American Cups, the
Pan Ams.
Not too much the IBJJFs because I don't think they were really hosting those up here. So you had to kind of travel for those.
They were always in LA at that time.
But a lot of the BJJ Tour tournaments. I remember it was like the first American Cup and the U.S. Open I competed in.
First American Cup, I was a purple belt or a brown belt, I think.
I was white or blue. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I remember the first American Cup. It was it was in Los Gatos.
Yeah, it was.
Los Gatos High School.
It was.
I think I was purple belt.
I think my first tournament was the U.S. Open at white belt. The first tournament I won, which was really awesome.
They used to do it at there was a Church Street in Santa Cruz, or
downtown.
That was the best venue, I think.
Yeah. That's where it was, and I lived right down the street,
really?
So I just like walked there in the morning.
That's dope. But we used to have to make it was a trip for us because we were living in Antioch, and we'd have to carpool. We would actually
stay the night.
We would stay the night, stay the night out here because I think sometimes they have the 2 days back to back, right?
Yeah.
The whole weekend, and then actually we had a friend that lived out in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and so there was times where we got to just stay with him, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember that tournament. I was the first match. It was like 8 a.m. And I was so glad that I.
Imagine if you had to travel and get here, wake up at 5. And
well, it's funny because my parents lived here and my mom came to watch and she got there late. And I was like, oh, like you missed all my match. I had great matches. I wish you could have seen them, but I've got one more, you know?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I don't know when it is, but like I'm in the finals. Like,
you never know when your matches are back then.
Yeah. and I remember just being like, I wish, like I was like really bummed that she was late because I won everything in like under 3 minutes. Like I just was like having such a great day. And then they're like, Nick Gerard to the podium, and I'm like, and I walk up. I had already won the tournament. I had no idea the whole time.
The last match was the finals.
I had so much anxiety for like, oh man, this last match is gonna be like the hardest opponent, you know. Yeah. And I had already.
You got first place.
I had already finished the bracket.
Oh, that's a trip.
So that was like
that's cool.
That was a pretty memorable one.
That's awesome.
But I remember training at Kaijin. Paul Schreiner had been training with like Marcelo Garcia and coming back and forth, and
is that where you got your X guard?
I think that's where like my love for the X guard came in because it was like something new. It was like new. And then I would come back home on the weekends and train at AKA sometimes. I'd like pop out some X guard stuff that no one was ready for.
What are you doing? Yeah, they didn't know what's going on.
Yeah, and so
I remember I had an instructor when I very first started jiu-jitsu, like 2003, 2004. He actually did X guard. And he showed me it, and then I brought it to like where I started training, and like nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I was doing it all backwards anyways, but I hadn't, I was X-guarding people, and I didn't know where it came from. This guy taught me, but pretty much like Marcel. I mean, it kind of has like, I think it has this, I saw Marcel talking about it recently. It kind of has his roots in half guard.
Yeah.
But he like developed it and turned it into a whole new thing, and so he pretty much created it.
I think watching his X guard and then like the Mendez Bros and like the AOJ guys, I think they all have like a pretty spectacular X guard, like single leg X, and
I think they developed the single leg X.
Their guard is really great, or at least something that like resonates with my style.
That's cool.
And then both between I think Bobby and Garth, I picked up some deep half stuff, and I don't play with it nearly as much as I used to, but that was like a big part of my my early jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I remember I trained with this guy in Texas. I was a brown belt. We were there for a tournament, and he did deep half to waiter to X guard. And it was the first time I've ever seen that trans. I had no idea what he was doing to me.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was lost. And he was just like going under me, going like inverting, getting to X guard and sweeping.
Yeah.
And he did that to me like a dozen times. And I had no idea. And so like I see how those two positions can connect.
Yeah.
And it took me years to figure it out. I was like, oh, like this is what he was doing. Like,
yeah.
Wow. Like, where did you learn that? Like, this was like back in, I don't know, 2009. It was a trip.
Yeah, waiter guard is something that I find myself looking for, especially from like the X guard positions.
Yeah. I usually use the waiter guard to get into an X guard, but I mean, it obviously could be reversed. So you go from X guard to waiter to deep half.
Yeah.
I don't usually go that direction, but I should.
From deep half actually is where I usually find it.
Yeah.
But sometimes from like from De La Hiva actually as well. Mm-hmm. Once I do like an off balance, if I underhook the leg, I can go. If they drive back, I can find myself in the waiter guard. So sometimes I'll use De La Hiva to go De La X or X guard or waiter guard. That's been an open guard that's become my favorite. I used to really like spider guard.
Yeah.
Largely because I'm really bad at it. And I have this doesn't maybe make a lot of sense, but I have this this bucket of techniques. That or two buckets. One bucket are techniques that I'm really bad at, and I see other people use to super high success, and I just keep trying them, and they just don't get better. Like my spider guard, I can hang on forever, but
I hate spider guard.
I really can't do anything with it. I can control the position because I've tried it so many times that I've learned how to stay in the spider guard and move and off balance. But usually it's just a transitionary guard. I end up somewhere else. As much as I want to be like this spider guard wizard. I go to it all the time and then I abandon it for something else.
It's hard, man. That spider guard, In fact, like that's for me, passing guard, the hardest guard for me to pass is spider guard and lasso. But and the guards that I hate playing the most is spider guard and lasso.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to that. Maybe I just don't know much about spider guard and lasso, or I'm so terrible on the bottom, so I'm also terrible at passing it.
They kind of go hand in hand, right? The better you can play it, the more you understand how it works.
Yeah.
The more you understand how to break it down.
Totally.
But then I also have this bucket of techniques that like are super successful against me, and so maybe subconsciously I've deemed them cheap techniques, and like I just don't ever use them because the handcuff pass when you're in closed guard and someone grabs your hand, like that's just the most like humiliating move. Like I don't ever want to make anyone feel how that makes me feel. I never use it.
Yeah.
Or like I love closed guard, and my closed guard, the pass that I'm usually the least able to prevent is the knee in the middle, where the hand in the armpits and they stand up and they put the knee up in the middle. Yeah. And it works super well against me. And so I don't do it to other people. Yeah.
Just like just trying to apply the technique kind of traumatizes you from all the bad times you've been in.
It's just like, man, I just don't like.
You don't like that technique?
That technique should have never been invented. I'm not going to spread that. Yeah.
It ends now.
You know? And I'm sure there's others, but those two come.
There's so many techniques in jiu-jitsu.
Although I have been playing around with like going back to my affinity for the lapels. Like if I'm in someone's closed guard, opening the lapel and then trying to pass it over their arm and under their back.
It's the same thing. So you're pretty much doing the same thing, but because you're grabbing a lapel,
so it's okay. So it's greenlit.
Yeah, I am not actually touching you with my hand, so it's like a barrier between me and you. So.
And I like it because people are like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you never seen this one before." But it's really the same thing.
Yeah, it is. I like. I didn't use that one too much, but I play with it a lot more now. I went to Grace University about a little over a year ago, where they had like a black belt exchange.
That was with Noah, right?
Yeah. And there was one guy there. He was brilliant, and he taught me something. He was like, just put people's hands behind their back. That's it. Yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you'll see it everywhere. Just put their hands behind their back. And then so he was showing that pass and how he does it and some variations on it. And then he ended up showing like 6 different techniques that utilize just putting someone's hands behind their back. And it was just like stupid. It was like, wow, like so simple. And then so after I came back from that, I was like putting everyone's hands behind their back from everywhere. Bottom side control. Got your hand behind your back. What are you gonna do now? Bottom mount, hand behind your back. Like, or anywhere, obviously in a better position, like if you're on the top or like passing or. Yeah. But, so that was just like, it's so cool to see different people's takes and this goes back to your pass. You know how terrible it feels. Like, the guys on top side control on me and I put their hand behind their back and then they feel like, I should be in a good spot yet.
I would avoid that guy like the plague. Like that. That is like the worst part of jiu-jitsu. Hand behind the back.
Yeah. I like doing that to cops. Like if I'm training with a cop and then I get their hand behind their back, we should have one.
I thought you were talking like out on the streets.
No. No, it's just kind of fun to like use their technique.
Oh yeah.
And like, hey, I got your hand. Like, and then maybe that could help them like figure out how to find the leverage and principle to get the hand behind the back. Yeah. So Santa Cruz. And then Santa Cruz. You were there with Paul Schreiner, Garth Taylor.
Yeah, Garth gave me my blue belt.
Nice.
I trained there for a while, moved back home, trained at AK for a while.
Went back to AK.
Yeah, I went back to AK, and then I got a job at the climbing gym, and started climbing a little bit, started climbing more, a little less jiu-jitsu, and then I fully switched. I was just climbing. Climbing was back to being my life. Yeah. And I did that for like another...
That's kind of cool, full circle.
Oh yeah, it's my pattern. every 3 years or so, just enough to like make progress and then switch to something else and lose all that progress.
Keeps it fresh.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to come back and like, I remember when I came back in here, I was trying a triangle and I was like, what's wrong with my triangle? I was like, I had it locked on the wrong side. Because like I knew what I was supposed to do, but like the muscle memory was just that
but when
rusty.
You came here, you were a purple belt.
I was a purple belt, and I hadn't trained for probably 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got your purple belt from at Tatica?
Yeah. So
So I remember that you were there. Or did you also train at the cave?
I'm not sure, but not the cave. Okay. But so I was climbing forever, and then I kind of stopped climbing, and then my daughter was born, and I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm awake. Like, I don't know what to do between the hours of like 5 a.m. and 8, 9 a.m. And so I went, Caio Terra had like a morning class. And so I went and I signed up there, and I trained there for probably about a year. And the morning class was taught by Flavio Maier and Victor. But Flavio ended up leaving and going to Tactica. He was like doing Krav Maga training, and then they ended up asking him to start a jiu-jitsu program there. And Flavio rolled every class. Even when I didn't want to train, he'd be like, oh, like, let's do rounds. And it was really cool to have somebody my exact size at that level to train with every single day. And the jiu-jitsu was just something I'd never experienced before. It was like inversions and bolos and crab rides and leg drags. And it was just like a whole new world of jiu-jitsu.
That's cool.
And so that's kind of where I think I really, and I started competing a lot. As a blue belt when I was training with Flavio. And then even as and then he promoted me to purple belt, and I had just registered for Master Worlds, and I think I got my purple belt like 2 months before the tournament.
But you were registered as a blue.
Yeah, and so I changed my registration.
It to purple?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it didn't go super well.
Yeah, that would have been nice if you had a blue for another month or two. Huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I had a really great match, but I lost to the guy who got second.
Yeah.
And it was just a tough draw.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you lose, and you always like follow your guy, like oh yeah, he's winning. Oh yeah, like.
Oh, I had like my whole blue belt. I had this like nemesis guy. It was just like some tournaments I'd win, some tournaments he'd win, and then we both like ended up moving up a weight class at the same tournament. It was just like every bracket. It was just me and this guy.
Where was he from?
He was from I think at the time he was training at Atlanta State.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which was, I think Milton was the head coach there, and him and Flavio had been training partners at Caio Terra.
Right, so, like, so they had like a similar like path or like
similar kind of style. Yeah.
And then they both split from Caio and opened up their own gyms, and then now they have they were sicking you out to like their little pit bulls.
I suppose, but yeah, and I think like training with Flavio is where I really just like. That is where my jiu-jitsu became less of learning a technique and applying it, and more just exploratory. Because
you guys rolled a lot.
Yeah, we rolled a lot, and I just got exposed to new positions, right? The Berimbolo stuff, just like being upside down, just like a whole different world. And the leg drags became like my go-to, like trying to find leg drags from everywhere.
Yeah.
Then the schedule kind of got reduced, and I probably started climbing again. I don't remember what happened, but I ended up having to pause my membership because I wasn't able to train. Oh, I kind of took a different role at work, and like I paused my membership because my schedule was kind of all over the place, and it just kind of drifted into.
Yeah, and then you lose momentum.
Yep, and I never came back, And then after the pandemic, I was scrolling through social media, and Daruma Dojo hit me with a paid ad. And I was like, new gym right down the street, founding members. Maybe I'll sign up and see if.
This was after like a 5-year hiatus?
Yeah, it was like after a 5-year hiatus, like, maybe I should go back.
Yeah.
And I remember calling you. I'll never forget that phone call.
Okay.
And
what did I say?
the gym wasn't open yet, and like There have been different things. Like at one point, AKA was gonna like have rules, like you could only wear a white belt, a white gi until you were a blue belt, and then you could only wear a white and blue gi until you were a brown belt, and then you could wear a black gi.
That's weird. I wonder what the reason behind that is.
And there's like, it was just like, I'm not sure, but like, there are gyms that have very strong traditions or like more. Like you can't ask questions during techniques, or like everyone's got to wear the matching uniform. I'm like, I got 8 gis. I'm not trying to wear just one uniform, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember calling you and be like, it's like, so are you like super traditional, or like, is it like a chill gym? And I'll never forget, you were just like, well, like, I believe in the traditions of our sport, but like I want people to be comfortable here.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I was like, I saw you don't have morning classes, like, well, and you're like, yeah, like I'm not a morning person. I'm not going to be teaching mornings. I was like, if there's someone in the community you build trust with, would you let someone else open the mornings? And you're like, I've never even met you before, And I'll never forget. But we talked for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then I signed up, and sure enough, here I am teaching the morning class. I planted that seed early.
You did. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of Daruma Dojo, huh? I was like, well, stop asking all these questions. I'm trying to figure out like how to pay rent.
we don't bow or shake hands in the morning class because usually people are trickling in late.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'm like, all right, class, line up, and everyone's like, someone's getting a stripe today.
Yeah.
Like,
no other reason why we're gonna line up. I think that's a good like traditional like jiu-jitsu or versus like. I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like I think there should be some sort of respect, and I think a hierarchy is important in some ways, but but at the same time, like I'm not like bowing to a picture of Helio Gracie, and I'm not making everybody wear the same uniform.
Yeah.
People don't have to bow when they enter the mat, or they don't have to like. So.
Yeah, I think that I fully agree. Like. I think you should make room for upper belts that are rolling, right? Like,
those are good rules.
Those sort of things. It's just kind of like appreciation, respect, because those are the people who are going to teach you the most.
Exactly. I have like when like, I mean, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
White belt or black belt, we're all human beings, and if I'm trying to learn a skill from somebody who's practiced for decades or over 10 years, as a practitioner, you have my respect, and I'm going to treat you as such. I'm going to address you as such, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's, some people might not think that way, and when people don't act that way, it kind of sometimes makes you cringe,
Yeah.
because I'm like, man, like I have a guy that he teaches me guitar, and like, to me, he's like a black belt. I'm like, dude, like, you're my coach. Like, I'm not gonna like, well, this is how I play the guitar. Like, what, you doing your way, but this is how, this is kind of cool or whatever. Like,
that's like two things. Like sometimes like something will be taught, and like it will inspire or spark an idea, right? Like, I'll try it a couple times, but then I might want to go and try like something else that like wasn't taught, right? And to have the flexibility and that kind of space to be creative is something that I really value, right? And so that was like one of my kind of what I was getting at is like, if I want to do my own thing, or is it like you have to do my curriculum and like, right? Like how homogenous is this place going to be?
Like, we have a system, and this is the Daruma Dojo system, and like if you're not passing guard like this, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, like that's, for me, the dojo is a place of learning and a place of curiosity and a place of experimentation. And that's where I think jiu-jitsu, that's what makes jiu-jitsu the most fun, is experimenting.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that there is no like wrong jiu-jitsu.
There is not.
There's bad jiu-jitsu and there is good jiu-jitsu, but like especially in the morning class, like just like everybody has like different like mobilities or strengths or just body types that like something might work really well for someone else, and then you switch the technique and it's like, oh, like that's bad jiu-jitsu, that doesn't work, and it works better for somebody else, you know? And it's just there's some people that do some things I'm like, I don't understand, like
that shouldn't work, but it does. Make it work.
Yeah, you know. And so there's been a couple times like in the morning class where someone's like, oh, like that's wrong, you don't want to do that, and I'm like, well, you might not want to do that, but it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just it might be a poor choice.
I agree with you too. Like, I think I agree with you 100%. Like, I was training with this guy recently, a black belt, and the first time training with him, and he was doing this. He was inside my close guard and he armbarred me, like with something I've never seen before. And he was doing this armbar. It's almost like your overhook armbar.
Yeah. From
everywhere, inside my close guard. And I've never seen anybody do that. Like, you know, you tell people like, don't go. You're inside the close guard. Don't attack. Yeah. Don't go for the Americana. Don't go for the Ezekiel.
Yeah.
But like, I try not to use the word don't.
Yeah.
Or never in jiu-jitsu. I was like, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. And it's funny because like I'll catch myself being like, that is. There is no wrong jiu-jitsu, but that is bad jiu-jitsu. Like, I would do something different.
Yeah, I like to say like that. Like, yeah, I would do something different. Like, cause like that's my experience.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? Like, if I tell you as a white belt, as a fresh mind, like, don't do that, and then they never do that. Now that's a whole path that just got cut off because, man, maybe they take that path and they find something that works for them.
Yeah.
And we might cut it off as an instructor. And like, you know, if I teach something and my technique is not like this is how you do this, and like I don't want to hear your the way you do it, you know. But like as a student, I would say, you know, like, okay, like I'm gonna try it your way, and then that will lead to my way, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna just, anyways.
No, and that's like I think one of my favorite things like in the morning classes is. The other day where we're going over, I want to say it was different, like leg. Maybe it was De La X. I think we're doing like De La X stuff, and when we get started, I'm like, all right, pick a technique that we reviewed the last couple of days and kind of drill it, right? Like whatever, something that you really liked, you want to put in your game, something that you couldn't make work and you want to try it again, you know, after sleeping on it. And there was one day we had 6 people here and all 3 groups were doing a different technique, right? Cool. And it was just like really cool to see, like, I've probably thrown way too many options out at you. Hopefully you understand the position at a minimum. But to see everyone kind of pick and choose.
And that they saw the same position, but they all saw it a different way.
Yeah, they all kind of took what they liked, you know, based off of whatever fit their game or their...
And that's I think what any kind of art is like, okay, let me try this color, let me try that color, let me try this position, let me try that position. It's like, okay, like that one, I'm not really a huge fan of that style. Let's you know, let me bring in some more of this. And
yeah.
So that's what's cool about jiu-jitsu, like.
And then, you know, John, for example, is always in the morning class, loves footlocks. So whatever I teach, he's like, I wonder if I can get a footlock here.
Cool.
Cole loves omoplatas. So like we'll be going over a position and Cole will be like, I think there's an omoplata here. And so everybody kind of picks out their own.
They see it through a different lens.
Right? They all have what they like and what they're attracted to, and then they try to build it into whatever system or position we're working on, which is super fun.
Yeah, and then everyone can share that. And
then we'll be like, oh, Cole's going to teach that tomorrow, you know?
And then he doesn't show up.
Yeah, and then he doesn't show up. No, he had a long weekend. Yeah. He gave me an advance notice. But yeah, it's...
And now you've been here since. You took a role as a coach. You earned your brown belt. You've created a community in the morning. Like, if anybody wants to learn jiu-jitsu from Nick, like, come 6:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesdays. They got, like I said, it used to be such a small. We saw it build from like 2 students, and now like there's been some classes we had like 10 people.
Yeah, there's been some big classes.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Like it's become very, very regular size compared to even our 11 a.m.s. Like our 11 a.m.s tend to be anywhere from like 4 to 10 people. Right?
Yeah,
and so like very similar to your 6:30. So
that's awesome, and you know, I do tend to pick like more complex positions or systems, and even if people don't pick up the techniques, I think there's so much to learn and just like figuring out how to move your body,
yes,
right? How to pivot around the legs to get a deep de la Hiva hook, or how to apply top pressure from a headquarters position, keeping your chest low, and I think there's more from learning a technique. It's about how to move your body, how to control, and I think the more complex the movements is, the more you're kind of pushed to get that muscle memory and those feelings down.
Yeah, so. You know, you don't have to go home and be perfect at that position.
Yeah.
If you can take away a little bit, then a little bit, then a little bit. And then on the other end, I think it also could be frustrating for a student if if they can't pick it up. That could be frustrating.
You'd be surprised, because like I'll say that like when I typically like go into like a new, we'll call it a unit, there are people like, oh, what is this? And then by the end of it, they're like, they're getting it. You know, you're not going to pick up in a day. No, definitely not. And it's great that in your units you do them for weeks at a time, and then so people are like you said, they sleep on it, and I think something happens in your sleep where you're like boom, 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 your neurons, and you're growing, you're building new pathways, and you come back, and then all of a sudden like, oh, I couldn't make that corner for the deep de la Hiva hook, and now somehow today I just figured it out. Like my body figured it out, and now I can turn my hips the right way or something. And it drives me crazy when someone can't figure it out, because I take accountability. I go home, I'm like, what is it? Like I'll be on like rolling around in my living room trying to figure out how I could describe, what I'm feeling. And even then, like I think one of the first things I did, because I just think it's so fun, is like lapel guards, like worm guard and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Josh plays with it a lot, so rolling with Josh is always super fun. And it was like one of the first things that I really focused on. And I remember you telling me that people went to night class grabbing lapels and getting their guards passed, right? I remember you told me that. You're like, what are you doing? Like, people are just grabbing lapels and getting passed. And Cole, Kamiko, they're all blue belts now. And earlier this year, they were just like, hey, can we go over I think I'm understanding jiu-jitsu so much more. Can we do worm guard stuff again? And I was like, oh, of course. Nice. Like I forgot some of those techniques, you know. Like let's really dive into it deeper. That's cool. So a lot of it kind of goes almost circular. Probably look into some K guard stuff, but first we got to figure out whatever this new guard is that Cole lapel sleeve. Yeah, inverted collar sleeve. I wanna learn when. Is the inverted collar sleeve, is that when the person on the top is different foot is forward? Or is it when the person on the bottom is upside down? It's when the person on the bottom is upside down. So I think it's like an option, and I very well could be wrong, but it's like collar sleeve, you want to try to get a foot on the hip so you can maintain the distance. But sometimes people crowd and you can't get that foot on the hip. So instead you roll and you have like almost like an X hooks on both sides of the ribs or hips. So your legs are crossed while you're upside down. And then you can like unwind and spin and like enter K guard. Well, when you guys figure it out, please teach me. Yeah, I got a lot of video footage that I plan on watching tomorrow. Right. Sounds cool, man. Yeah, do it. You know what would be cool is do some videos in the morning. And you can share them with us, and we can share it with the team, or we can share it on YouTube or something. Yeah? Yeah, let's do that. I'm sure we could give me Wednesday to figure out this, play with this technique, but maybe Monday we'll have some videos. Sounds good. Well, Nick, is there anything else you'd like to talk about? I think that's about it. Yeah, is there anything you want to say to the public as far as like, hey, if they want to come train with you, or if they want to reach out to you, or how they can do that? Show up Monday, Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. You reps, or rounds. Take how you want. Just got to show up. That's the hardest part. That's true.
Well, man, Nick, it's such a nice time having a time to talk jiu-jitsu.
Oh, thank you. It was good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. You're one of my favorite people to roll with in the gym when you show up, but I know you're so busy with your work and family and other extracurricular activities that you do, and so I appreciate the culture that you created and the value you add to our team, and so keep up the great work, and when you have time we'll get together and roll. I mean, I could easily also, not necessarily easily, but I could also be going to your 6:30 a.m. class, but that's other
It's really hard to go to 6:30 a.m. in the evenings, and so unless I'm going twice a day, I won't hold you accountable to showing up in the mornings, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, brother.
But
thank you.
Awesome. Good to talk.
Hell yeah.